Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we break down the materials you send us and pull out the most potent and actionable insights.
And today we're getting into something I think almost everyone can relate to on some level.
Absolutely. We are diving deep into the fear of speaking English.
It's that classic paradox, isn't it? You can spend years studying, the grammar for the test, you have the vocabulary, but then the moment you're in a real conversation, everything just freezes. The fear, the shyness, it just locks it all down.
Exactly. We're not talking about a knowledge gap. It's conversational paralysis.
Yeah.
And so this deep dive is for you if you're the person dealing with that specific anxiety.
Right. And the guide we've reviewed for this, it's not just sympathy. It lays out a real step-by-step approach, a way to get from silent worry to, well, confident communication.
So our mission today is to unpack the psychological roots of this fear, and then, crucially, give you some simple, tactical conversation tools you can use immediately to fight back.
It's not just about understanding the problem. It's about having a ready-made script for the solution.
Okay, let's unpack this,
Yeah.
starting with why this fear exists in the first place.
Right. What are the root causes? Why does a perfectly capable person suddenly turn into a statue when they just need to order a coffee?
So what do the materials say?
Well, they identify three main psychological barriers. They're deeply connected, and they really capture that inner monologue of anxiety perfectly.
Okay, lay them out for us. What are these three core fears?
Okay, number one is the intense, almost visceral worry about making mistakes. Number two is that crippling fear that other people, native speakers, your boss, anyone, are going to judge you for those mistakes.
The social angle.
Exactly. And the third is this relentless, and it's often subconscious, this pursuit of perfect grammar.
That third one, that feels like the real killer, the perfectionism. How does trying to be perfect actually make you a worse communicator?
Oh, it completely derails the whole cognitive process. I mean, think about it. When you're speaking spontaneously, you need to access the intuitive part of your brain, right? The part that handles flow and meaning.
But if you're hunting for the perfect grammar,
You're activating the analytical, rule-based part of your brain. You're basically trying to proofread a sentence while you're still speaking it.
which is impossible.
It's impossible. And that cognitive load, it creates this huge internal drag. It slows you down, your anxiety shoots up, and you end up forgetting the word you needed anyway because your brain is just tied up in knots.
What's fascinating here is the goal is often perfection, but the source reminds us that fluency requires embracing imperfection.
That's the whole shift. That's the aha moment. You have to embrace it.
So what's the big counter-argument to that pressure? The source offers a simple truth that should just, provide some instant relief.
The key insight is realizing that mistakes aren't a sign of failure. They are a fundamental, non-negotiable part of learning.
Okay, let's pause on that for a second.
Yeah.
Because I think so many learners feel like they're the only one making these silly errors.
Right. And the source gives us a much-needed reality check. Think about how native English speakers talk every single day.
We're a mess.
A total mess. We misspeak constantly. We use run-on sentences. We mix up words.
Yeah.
We break grammar rules all the time.
Right.
So if you're setting the bar for yourself at flawless, grammatically perfect delivery, you're setting a bar that is actually higher than most native speakers ever reach in casual conversation.
That should be a huge weight off your shoulders. The goal isn't a perfect score on a verbal exam. It's just communication, clarity.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the difference between a confident speaker and a shy one isn't the number of mistakes they make.
It's what?
It's the confident speaker's willingness to make a mistake and then just move on.
Okay, so we've unpacked the internal stuff. The fear of mistakes, judgment, the perfection trap. But knowing that is one thing. Doing something about it is another.
Right. Knowledge is inert without action.
So let's get tactical. The sources give some wonderfully simple conversational script that you can use for immediate relief in the real world.
Yes. They give us 3 specific scenarios, 3 moments where that anxiety usually spikes, and they offer these little phrases that they hand control back to you, the learner.
Okay, let's do scenario 1. This one tackles that very first fear we talked about, mistake anxiety. The guide suggests a little script for practice. It starts with the learner just saying, I'm afraid to speak English because I make mistakes.
And the counter response, the thing you need to internalize is, that's normal. Mistakes help you learn.
It's a reframe.
It's a total reframe. You're reprogramming your brain's response to error. So when you do slip up in a real conversation, Your internal voice isn't panic. It's, okay, good, data collected. I learned something there.
It turns the mistake from a failure into a learning mechanism. Every slip-up just points to where you need to focus next.
And that lowers your adrenaline. Anxiety loves the unknown, right? The loss of control. If you pre-script your response to making a mistake, you've taken the unknown out of it.
Okay, let's move to the second big anxiety point, speed. You're talking to a native speaker and it feels like a fire hose of words.
The script addresses that directly. The learner says, people speak very fast. And the counter advice is so fundamental, you don't need to speak fast.
You don't have to match their pace.
You don't. In fact, you shouldn't. The source is very clear. The goal is clarity, not speed.
Because when you try to force speed, your cognitive load goes up, you make more mistakes, and then the fear comes right back.
It's that vicious cycle again. Speaking slowly, on the other hand, gives you mental space. Space to find the right words, structure your thought, pronounce things clearly.
And for the person listening to you.
For the listener, speaking clearly is an act of respect. They don't have to struggle to understand you, and often they'll actually slow down their own speech to match your pace. It creates a calmer conversation for everyone.
So you have permission to set your own pace.
You have the responsibility to.
Which brings us to the third scenario. This is the moment of panic, when you just fascinate. You didn't understand what they said.
Right.
And you don't want to look stupid by asking them to say it again.
And this is where asking for repetition becomes what the source calls a power move. The script is so simple. Sorry, can you repeat that?
And the response is usually, of course, then thank you, no problem. So let's break that down. Why is that a power move and not a sign of weakness?
Because the alternative is guessing. And guessing is what leads to those really awkward mistakes later on. You nod, you pretend you understood.
Right.
And 5 minutes later, you say something completely wrong because you misheard one key word at the beginning. That wastes everyone's time.
So asking for repetition is just efficient.
It's efficient, and it's a power move because you are actively managing the conversation. You are telling the other person respectfully, for this communication to be successful, I need the information at my processing speed.
It shows you're confident, not confused.
Exactly. It shows you value the conversation enough to get it right. It turns potential panic into intentional learning.
Okay, so we now have these external actionable tools, but the source materials are really clear that the most important conversation is the one you have with yourself.
Here's where it gets really interesting. This is where we move from a few useful phrases to daily mental programming. It's about dismantling that internal fear narrative for good.
And the source gives us a script for that, too.
Yeah.
4 specific, powerful sentences.
They're the anchors. They're designed to replace that old story of doubt. They are very concise, very potent.
Okay, what are they? What are the 4 sentences you should be repeating every single day?
Number 1, I'm learning English every day.
Okay.
2, it's okay to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
3, I can speak English. And 4, I am getting better.
Let's dissect these a bit. I am learning English every day. Why is that one so important?
Because it shifts your focus.
Yeah.
It moves it away from the impossible goal of instant perfection and towards the very real success of daily effort. You're celebrating the process, not just the final outcome.
It's about the journey.
It's about the journey. And it confirms that progress is supposed to be incremental and that you're doing it right now.
And it's okay to make mistakes. That's the direct antidote to the fear of failure we started with.
It is. And it also works on the fear of judgment. Because when you've already told yourself it's okay, you take away the power of someone else's reaction to embarrass you. You've already accepted it.
Now, the third one, I can speak English. That's a big declarative statement.
It's incredibly powerful. It works on self-efficacy. It doesn't matter if your speaking is flawless today. This sentence establishes your identity. You are a person who can communicate in this language. It cuts off that negative self-talk, the maybe I can't or I'm not good enough.
You're stating it as a fact.
You're stating a truth about your journey. And finally, I'm getting better.
That one seems key for fighting that feeling of being stuck on a plateau.
It is. It's so easy to feel like you're not making progress, especially at those intermediate levels. But repeating I am getting better forces your brain to look for small wins. It reinforces that positive feedback loop and keeps your focus on growth, not on your current limits.
So this whole deep dive really comes down to a simple feedback loop. Fear disappears when you practice, and confidence grows when you speak.
That's the engine. The psychological work, the affirmations, gives you the courage to try the conversational scripts.
And using the scripts gives you small wins.
And those small wins prove that the affirmations are true, which drives your fear down even more. It all works together.
So just knowing grammar rules won't do it. It's the application. And the most urgent advice from the source material hammers this home. Don't wait to be perfect. Start speaking today.
Waiting for perfection is passive. Starting today, no matter how limited you feel, is an act of bravery, and that is what builds fluency. The second you decide to consciously slow down, or you say, sorry, can you repeat that? You've taken control.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is really a lesson in prioritizing function over form.
Yes. It's about prioritizing communication over capitalization, engagement over flawless execution.
And you, listening to this, you now have the whole toolkit. The slow speaking strategy, the repetition strategy, and the internal affirmations to start right now.
Embrace the messiness of it all. Remember that mistakes are just data points. They're not failures.
Absolutely. So as we wrap this up, just carry these 2 pillars of confidence with you. First, accept that mistakes are normal and necessary. And second, use your simple tools, asking for repetition, speaking slowly, to stay in control.
Remember that final message from the source? Speak English without fear. Speak English with confidence. That's the only metric that really matters.
And here's a final provocative thought for you to take away. We focus a lot on speaking English, but think about those 4 sentences. I am learning every day. It's okay to make mistakes. I can do this. I am getting better. Since this is all about cognitive restructuring, how could you apply that exact same mental script to learning any difficult new skill in your life? The next time you face a tough task at work or a new piece of software or anything that makes you want to freeze up, try that mental framework. Focus on the process, not on being perfect from day one.
Take the script for confidence and start that internal conversation.
That's all for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.